Kevin Canessa coming to you from the newsroom of The Observer and TheObserver.com on this, the 7th day of November in the year 2022. Sure hope you're enjoying your Monday, no matter where it is you are in the country. And if you are here in the Northeast, you know what a beautiful day today has been. Just beautiful, beautiful spring, summer-like weather, 75 degrees. Feels like a June day, not a November day. You would never know. Election day is one day away. But as you do every Monday night, you welcome me into your home so that I might bring you this week's newspaper. And before we do that, I wanted to mention something that you can see on your screen right now. And it is the Black Poster Project, which is returning to Kearney on November 18th. During the day, Kearney High kids are going to get a 2-hour assembly on the Black Poster Project. But later that night, there will be a presentation at Kearney High School for adults. Now, unfortunately, the last time the Kearney Prevention Coalition put this on, I think about 4 parents showed up. And we're hoping, beyond hopes, that more parents will come to this. I think, or maybe it was even a little bit more than that, but it was a very, very small number, and they had to cancel for various reasons too because of COVID. So this is returning to Kearney High School on the 18th, and the parents and members of the community will have the opportunity to walk around and look at these stunning photos. Each photo is of a person who lost his or her life to addiction, and it's very, very stunning. And a couple of years ago, it was actually last year, they had this at St. Stephen's Church, and it was very, very successful. But unfortunately, the one at Kearney High School they couldn't have, and now it's coming back. So if you're a member of the community and you have experienced loss, this is a tremendous program. If you've never experienced loss, it's something everybody should experience at one point or another because it's just stunning. These are real faces from real people who have died from overdoses from the opioid crisis here in America. And it's just a very, very, very sad dilemma that we're in this country, but it is a reality. So that's coming up on the 18th of November, and we'll have more details at theobserver.com for you to check out. And the Kearney Prevention Coalition does a phenomenal job of pulling this together for you. This is this week's front page, and it is worst to first. You're wondering what that is. Well, there is a VFW post in Nutley, and believe it or not, it was on the verge of closing down not too long ago. It was very, very close to closing down, in fact. But Maria Hamlin, who is a retired police detective from the Nutley Police Department, was elected the post's commander. And not only is it not closing, the post is now one that is being recognized around the country as one of the top most active VFW posts in all of America. I've known Maria for about 17 years now. She is a wonderful human being, and she has dedicated her life to this post, as have others. I don't want to make it seem like she's the only one, but she's the leader, and she's done a phenomenal job making this post what it is today. So I hope you'll read all about that on page number 1. And we do this, of course, in honor of Veterans Day, which is coming up on Friday. And to all of our veterans, we thank you for your tremendous service to this country. On the bottom of page 1, the Harrison High School Blue Tide won a state sectional championship on Saturday night at the stadium. 1-0 over Voorhees, so they will play their next game Wednesday of this week at 6 p.m. And things continue to roll along for the Blue Tide. Congratulations to the boys for winning their first state sectional championship since 2016. It's hard to believe it's even been that long. On page number 3, Ron has a story about several projects that have been green-lighted in the town of Kearney infrastructure-wise, and he also reports that the police department will be purchasing 6 more automatic license plate readers. Those readers are on top of police cars and are able to capture any license plates that it passes, and if that person is wanted or their license is suspended or things of that nature, it will alert the officer in that vehicle that they just passed somebody who is suspended or has a warrant out for their arrest. This is a very, very, very unique crime-fighting tool. Kearney has some already, but this will bring 6 more to the police department. So read Ron's story if you can. You all know Fred Confessori, who is a retired administrator from Harrison and also a member of the Harrison Board of Education. Give him one more title in his retirement, and that is Borough Administrator in East Newark. What's perhaps the most disturbing about this, though, is that Fred is the 4th business administrator to have that seat since Dina Grillo took over as mayor not even 2 years ago. I kind of wonder why there have been 3 others who left very quickly, including Bobby Dowd, who stayed for a grand total of 4 months during his tenure. He, of course, is the retired North Bergen police chief and is a commissioner on the New Jersey Sports and Exposition Authority, who had a great resume and lasted 4 months to go write a textbook. That's certainly a new one. But read all about Fred Confessori taking over, and I'm sure if given a chance, he will do a phenomenal job in that position. You've heard me talk about Mike Perrone. He is the president of the Belleville Historical Society. He and his buddy Val, both members of the society, have restored a beautiful monument on Schuyler Avenue in front of the CVS and have restored it to its World War II era glory. And I want you to read about this because I didn't even know it existed. I've driven past there so many times and never saw the monument. But it turns out that there were 28 men who worked for the Pollock Corporation, which was a Defense Department contractor during World War II. And 28 of the employees of that company went over and fought overseas and did not come home. And in 1946, the monument was erected, but it got weathered and it turned this greenish color, as you can see in the story over there. That's the original, but that's because it's copper. And copper goes from its golden color to green after being weathered for many years. All you have to do is look to the Statue of Liberty to know that that is what happens. So Perrone and Val both did a beautiful job in restoring this monument to its original quality, and you can check it out. It's right in front of the CVS on Schuyler Avenue in Kearney, just past the exit to Ciabra's Supermarket. So check it out when you get a chance. Stop by. It's a beautiful, beautiful monument to 28 people who lost their lives at a very young age in the 1940s during World War II. Tim Wagner has this week's Kearney Police Blotter, including the tale of 2 police officers who are brothers and former rugby players who had to use their rugby powers to tackle a fleeing shoplifter. So I hope you'll check that out and all the other entries that Tim put in this week's blotter. As he does every week, he infuses it with humor, and it's always a fun read. In Belleville, there is a brand new indoor athletic training facility, and Mayor Mike Milham and Rich Tomko, the superintendent of schools in Belleville, recently opened it. It's now available for Belleville athletes and also, I believe, for residents when the athletes are not using them. You all know Bill Stiepel, the former historian from the town of Kearney. He's written a new book about General Philip Kearny. He will speak at the Kearney Library on November 12th about his new book, which is, I believe, 800 pages and about 10 pounds in weight. So hope you'll check that out as well. If you have any interest in Philip Kearny, the Civil War, Kearney history, Bill Stiepel is a great, great speaker and knows so much about the Civil War, General Kearny, and the history of this town. Jason Bernstein has that recap, of course, of Harrison soccer, and also he's got an athlete of the week. I won't tell you who that is. I hope you'll check that out. And Jimmy Mullen, the legendary wrestler from Kearney who goes to St. Joe's of Montvale right now, has committed to a university in the Mid-Atlantic. We won't tell you which one, but take a look at it and see where he has decided to play college football and to wrestle when he graduates at the end of this year. I didn't even know Jimmy was a senior. I thought he graduated last year. But I know my friend Stevie Nash will enjoy this very much. Jimmy Mullen is just not only a phenomenal athlete, but just a wonderful all-around human being for a 17-year-old. You don't find many as nice and courteous as he is. So I hope you'll check that out in sports this week. A couple of things that didn't make it into the paper this week, but will eventually. Also, did you know that the Minneapolis Police Department has a new chief, and he is a native of Kearney and a graduate of the Kearney High School class of 1997. That's right, it's Brian O'Hara. For those of you who don't know Brian was a Newark police officer for many years and was also the civilian police director for a couple of years. Then he became deputy mayor in the city of Newark. And Mayor Jacob Fry of Minneapolis learned about who he was and hired him to be the new chief of police in Minneapolis. And I don't think it's an understatement to say that the Minneapolis Police Department over the last 2 years, going back to Derek Chauvin killing George Floyd under his knee, is embattled. And the mayor, who is very popular in Minneapolis, realized that he had to do something to get this ship tightened. And he turned to a man who was from the Newark Police Department and who calls his hometown Kearney. So we can only say congratulations to Brian O'Hara and to any of his family members who, on the off chance, might be watching. We are very, very proud of Brian and the accomplishments that he has made. So there's that. And also, tomorrow night is election night, obviously. And generally speaking, the results come in at about 9 o'clock. Doesn't always happen that way. And if it's a close election, it may be even later. Now, I'm not going to stay up till 2 o'clock in the morning and give you results at 2 a.m., but if they trickle in between 9 and 10 o'clock tomorrow night, I'm going to join you live, and we'll be on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, no, not Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube to bring the results of tomorrow night's election. So I hope you'll check that out. And there's some big races tomorrow, don't forget. You have a mayor race in North Arlington and in Harrison, a very contested election in Harrison. And then, of course, there are 2 seats up for grabs in the town of Kearney in the 3rd and 4th wards. So there's a lot to get to tomorrow night. And God willing, if those results come in at a reasonable hour, I'll join you live from the home studio tomorrow and recap that and offer a little bit of an analysis as to what I thought happened once we see those results. But you never know. Even if the results come in, it doesn't mean that they're going to be certified tomorrow. And you never know what could happen. We've seen it in elections lately that for some reason candidates often don't believe the results anymore. So who knows? Maybe that'll happen tomorrow, and we'll have a local fight like we did 2 years ago on our hands when the presidency was up in the air. Remember that? Okay, so that's it for today. I'll see you tomorrow at about 9 o'clock Eastern Time, God willing. And if not, we'll see you back here 1 week from tonight. From the newsroom of The Observer and TheObserver.com, Kevin Canessa. I'm signing off for now and hope to see you back here again very, very soon. Have a good rest of your Monday, everybody.